Hey guys, we're live here to discuss a little Northwestern tonight. Um okay, as you can see Paul's not here. We are expecting him, but there's a possibility that he might not come on, so he will join us, we hope, in a few. Um okay, let's just get right. I want to get right started with some of these comments because they're kind of pertinent today. Quick shout out to the Hawkeye women's soccer team for winning the Big Ten tournament with the number 8 seed. Team champs with the lowest seed in history. They make it to the NCAA tournament. I believe that was announced. I believe it was announced. Yes, it was. I watched that game. Kind of on the edge of your seat type thing. I mean, Wisconsin never really threatened much with their goals, shooting on the goals. But the one thing that it number 8 seed, but I think that's the second time they did that as a number 8 seed. I believe in 2021 they also did it. And
Were
they'd
they
only
the
had.
8 seed though?
I think they were lower because they let the whole Big Ten tournament in. The whole Big Ten team because of COVID. They let everybody in the tournament that year. I think they were a lot lower
Because they
because
did.
they only won like 2 games before they went to the championship and made it to the playoffs.
Because they did say this was the lowest seed in history.
Yeah,
So I don't
so
know.
unless they're not counting that year, I don't know. I'll have to go look it up. I'll have to look it up. Okay. So yeah, I'm glad we're getting a shout out to the women. Let's talk about the wrestling team. Cal Baptist, they smashed Cal Baptist 40-0. And Jared, you're our wrestling expert. The Hawkeye women also smashed their opponents. I forget what score they had, but their opponent had 1 point. How do you get 1 point in wrestling? Can you explain it to me? Okay. Iowa sports keeps on winning, but the fans never seem to be satisfied. Yeah, that seems to be the theme. I was kind of gonna talk a little bit about that. The fans are still being very, very negative. Overall, I said after the Minnesota loss that I was just done criticizing and everything. That I mean, we obviously don't have a very good quarterback, but you know what? It's who we're gonna have to ride with, and for the rest of the year. So there's no sense in complaining about it. I just want to enjoy the ride to the West title. I don't care if they make the championship game and get blown out. I know a lot of fans go, we don't want to go there and get beat 50-7. Fine, at least we make it, right? You know how many other teams in the West want to get there? The other 6. So if we get there, the other 6 want to get there too. So what a way to go out in the last year of division and being West Division champions. So let's support the team and let's get them there. Okay. Okay. Some of the fans are bent on defending Deacon Hill. He has a sub 3 adjusted yards per attempt and fine worth winning, but we still need a QB change. It's not going to happen unless he gets hurt, guys. You guys know that by now. You guys are regulars to the pages. You guys are regulars to watching Hawkeye football. You're regular to us. It's just not going to happen. However, I would like to point out that he was 10 for 15 with 1 interception for 65 yards yesterday with the TD. He had a 66%. Let's give him cheers. 66% throwing percentage. Not bad, guys. Not bad. I mean,
because of play calling. That was Brian. That was
what's
Brian.
that? Okay, come on over back and let's defend that.
That was Brian's best play called game of the season. The play calling is why he completed. Did you notice 0 passes except for the last one that were completed went over 5-10 yards?
Right.
It was all bootleg play action to the tight end and the flat. I mean, there wasn't the play calling was spectacular for having a quarterback that can't do anything.
Right.
Leaning on the defense to win that game, because if Deacon Hill turns it over, remember that throw he threw up to the Northwestern defense and they dropped it?
Right.
When he was almost sacked and he just chucked it out to the flat?
Yeah,
If they catch that, Iowa probably loses that game.
they probably do. And Deacon did make
So
mention of it in his news conference and said he was just lucky. That was just lucky that they didn't catch that. That
yeah,
was a
so
stupid throw for him to make. He had a guy
no,
nearby, and I think he thought maybe he could try to get it to him instead of just throwing it out of everybody's hands, which is what he should have done.
I disagree, South Bend. It should be Marco's turn. Cooper can get a fly sweep every now and again. He's too valuable on defense. You take him off defense, Iowa doesn't win. Let him do what he does, but put Marco in at quarterback. And he's number 2 now because LaBasse is leaving. So,
Okay.
which
All
I
right.
don't feel. I think I feel for LaBasse's family. I'm glad that he's upfront about everything. He's going to finish the semester at Iowa. Yeah. So
Did he say that publicly already?
no,
Oh,
I
okay.
shouldn't have said it, but no one
You heard.
watches this. Nobody watches this podcast anyway, so I'm good.
You're funny. Okay.
So
That must be why Marco was promoted to number 2 yesterday. He did have the headsets at one point, but so did Joey. He had the headsets on
well,
too.
yeah, Joey's going to be the calling the plays, on the sideline, wearing
Mhm.
the hat and the headset. He'll have the headset on
Okay.
the
All
rest of
right.
the
I want to
season.
address Jared's comment. I looked it up, and the Iowa women wrestling is freestyle, not folk style, so the scoring is different. Okay. Good. Fair enough. Okay. We already talked about whether or not he improved or not, but he did have a good game. But I think the short passes were needed in order for him to gain confidence. All honesty, and I don't know if let's not forget on that last pass to set up the field goal that was Caleb Brown's first catch of the year. I did not realize that. I thought he had 2 others during the year.
No, he had drops.
Yeah, he had a lot of drops, but I
He had
thought he
drops in the old number 3. Now he's number 81.
yeah. So maybe
So,
choosing to 81 was a good thing.
right.
Yeah.
He can't wear Cooper's number.
Okay. So also, if I was Northwestern, I'd be embarrassed if that was basically an Iowa home game. Yeah, Northwestern fans didn't turn out too crazy for that. Anybody
never
anybody
do.
you guys were there? Was it more Iowa fans than
Oh,
Northwestern?
there's a lot more.
Okay.
Lot more. And they even booed Northwestern coming out of the tunnel. So it was like an Iowa home game.
That's what the one of the players said in their interview yesterday, that it felt like an Iowa home game, and he goes, aren't we the road team?
Right. And
Yeah.
there was so many Hawkeye fans, sprinkled in a little bit of Northwestern fans.
Mhm.
But Chicago is a destination for Iowa graduates. Like, that city is loaded with Iowa graduates, which is
It
why
is.
they do what they do. I mean, Iowa's played in Wrigley Field. I mean, they've done a lot of things in Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. Terry has joined us. Hello, Terry. I believe this is one of the few times I've seen you actually join the show live. Okay. I'm glad Hill said something yesterday and puts it into perspective. I believe he made a comment yesterday that about the criticism he's getting, saying that he's had to grow up fast. I tried to get the full quote, but I couldn't find it, all of it. Um, so, but yeah, he talked about that he was basically thrown into the job when he wasn't expecting to be, and he's had to learn on the fly. And this guy, I guess he didn't play his last high school year because of COVID, and of course we know he was on the scout team at Wisconsin, and here he came and wasn't expecting to get hurt. Okay. Okay. Anyone been to Wrigley Field or even Soldier Field? I have been to Wrigley Field. The
Oh,
only
yeah.
time I went to Wrigley Field, I had free tickets to watch the Cubs and St. Louis, and the game got rained out after we sat there for 2 hours waiting for the game to start. They finally rained it out. So we left.
Yeah.
We left, but we listened to the the people on the radio, and about an hour after we left, they started the game.
Yeah, Wrigley Field is one of my favorite places. I absolutely love that place. I love the history of it. I know I have some Chicago friends who just hate that place because they call it a trash hole because it's old, But I absolutely love the place. They did upgrade the bathrooms and all of that, but which needed to be done. But no, Wrigley Field is one of the best baseball stadiums there is.
Mhm.
The only other one I'd like to go to is Boston. I'd like to see the Green Monster in person.
Oh, seriously? Okay. You are a baseball fan, so you should probably make
Who?
you, aren't you?
Oh
You a
yeah, oh
baseball?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think you should make the tour.
I know, right?
Yeah. I follow this guy and his son on TikTok, and they're making the tours of all the baseball stadiums, and they film every time they go to one. But they won't be going to any for a while because the season's over. All right. Terry feels for Labus and his dad. Labus got screwed over. Everybody knows that. I was confused with Coop having two different numbers. My sis said a lot more. He didn't have two different numbers. He had number 3 the whole time.
Who?
Coop.
Oh yeah,
Cooper.
Coop's always been number 3.
Yeah, it
It
was.
was
You go ahead and
Caleb
explain it.
Brown.
Yeah,
It was Caleb
Caleb.
Brown.
Yeah, Caleb Brown also wears number 3, so they had to switch his number in order to put Coop on the field.
That's why they did it. You're right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, you don't even have to be there just looking at it on TV. It was supposed to be a big event for Northwestern. Not a good look. Northwestern has a game every year. They usually do the Iowa-Illinois game in there. I think Paul's coming in. Paul? Paul! Welcome. We missed you.
Sorry I'm late.
That's okay. You're entitled to it. Hope everything's going okay for you.
I'm just glad to be here. Better late than never.
Yeah. Okay. I've been reading some of the comments early, and you might want to say hi to Terry. She's actually with us live tonight.
Hey, Terry.
Hey. Okay. Oh, she gave you back a hi, Paul back. All right. What do you think? This game was pretty well evenly matched, wouldn't you think? And the stats kind of bear that out at the end of the day. So I would say that this game truly put us on the edge of our seats. I know that final drive, because I was sure we were headed for overtime because I didn't have faith that our offense was going to get in position for a field goal. And when they did, I was just like, oh my God, I am stoked. And then when I saw him line up practically in the middle of the field for that kick, right? All he had to do was kick it straight right through the uprights, which he did. I knew we'd win.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I don't know if evenly matched, but every game you could say about Iowa, it's Iowa's style, right? They play the field position game. That's what they do.
Okay.
I mean, Iowa pretty much dominated the game up until that 9-minute drive by Northwestern.
Right.
If Northwestern
9-minute drive that ended up with a goal line stand.
Yeah, the 17 play, 9-minute drive. The game was all in Iowa's favor. I mean, even including that drive, Iowa had the ball for over 30 minutes. So they time of possession the ball more, even with Northwestern having that 9-minute drive. So I just think it was just your normal Iowa football game that we all watch. I don't think it's going to be the same way next week. It's going to be the same way the week after that. It's just their style. And you can't go nuts with Deacon Hill as your quarterback. You just can't.
Yeah.
You got to do what you did last week.
Yeah. I remember after the goal line stand and we were going to get the ball back. I knew we were going to get the ball back at about the half-yard line. So my thought was I hope we can get the ball out of there without taking a safety or fumbling it. And giving the fact that we couldn't, and we ended up, they ended up having a nice return, and I think they got to the 20-yard line or something, and scored on a couple plays later on that touchdown. Would it have been better for them to take the safety and then kick it off and put them a little deeper away from the end zone? What do you think, knowing that at best our punt would probably only go to the 50-yard line anyway, giving the way Troy was kicking those balls? Any questions on that one?
Go ahead, Paul, because Paul had a comment that you interrupted, Dean. Do you remember the comment?
Yeah.
You didn't hear him talking?
I didn't. Sorry, Paul.
He was following me up.
Got it. Go ahead, Paul. Finish your thought. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
If it wasn't for turnovers and dumb boneheadedness by the guy that Kirk says gives us the best chance to win, Iowa easily would have been up 17-0 fairly early in this game. I mean, they were actually rolling offensively, but you had the interception in the end zone, the fumble. It just these are things that if they don't happen, I firmly believe Iowa probably gets a 10-0, 17-0 lead fairly early in the game. Instead, it's 0-0 at halftime. But like Coach said, I mean, Iowa was really firmly in control of the game, even when it was tied 0-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
They missed a field goal. They were almost in the red zone before Deacon throws that interception. Right. I mean, Iowa's offense Iowa was controlling the whole game. Northwestern was maybe getting a first down here and there and punting, and Iowa's getting a couple first downs every time. Or
yeah,
more.
was that the drive that Northwestern kept getting pass interference calls?
It was one of them.
Yeah. Guys, talk about that, whether or not we should have taken a safety so that when we kicked off, they would have the ball at worst at the 25-yard line to start, instead of when, Troy kicks the ball out of the end zone, the best he's going to get it is to the 50 anyway. And then, of course, with the return to the 22 or 20-yard line. What do you think? Do you think they should have taken the safety? Because Kirk Ferentz said in his news conference last night he believes they should have taken the safety on looking back at it.
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he did. I heard it with my own ears. He said it to Dolph and Eddie, actually. They asked him about it, and he said in hindsight we probably should have taken the safety, but he says you can't go back and undo it.
Well, it's nice to be able to second guess those things in a winning situation versus a losing one, right? It's much better to be able to go back and play the what if game and still have the W.
Right. I mean, I wouldn't have done. Yeah. What he did was the right move in my opinion. But you can go back and say, hey, have you guys heard people talking about? I'm getting all these messages right now. Have you guys heard a lot of people talking about? God dang it. Hold on, I gotta scroll up. QB1, what's his name? Deacon. Jesus.
Deacon, yeah.
Sorry,
Deacon, yeah.
my brain.
Deacon and Deacon down the field, huh? Is that what we're doing? Deacon, Duncan.
Apparently, there's a bunch of people saying that Deacon is a walk-on. That's why he's not doing so well. No, he's on scholarship. He eats for free. So that's no excuse. He was offered by Budmeyer at Wisconsin. Mm-hmm. And then he was on his way to Fordham before Budmeyer once again offered him to come to Iowa. He's on scholarship. So if anybody starts spouting off that with excuses about him being a walk-on, no, tell him, no, he's on scholarship. He eats for free. So,
So, what did you guys think of that long delay on the down there in the end zone on that goal line stand where that got tore up and that big hole was created? I
That's
guess
what,
apparently that's the third base. That's about where third base was supposed to be.
you want to take that ball or?
I have no real opinion on it. I mean,
Yeah.
say that's football. You know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did. I didn't. I was at a family get together during this game. Like I missed a lot of it. I had to watch it again. So
Okay, that explains why we didn't hear much from you yesterday, but very little.
Yeah, very little because I was watching it on the big screen up on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
but I was still yakking, doing what I do best. I talk.
Yeah.
So, but I was, when it wasn't commercial, when the game was going, I was watching it, talking at the same time. But when stuff like that happens, I was talking. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you didn't hear much out of me.
Okay. The only reason why I bring it up is because somebody could have got seriously hurt, and I believe that we lost Bo Stevens because of that. Because he probably got caught in that dip when he tried to move people out of the way for Deacon.
Oh, yeah,
Or do you guys not think that?
Where was the hole at? I don't even know where the hole was.
It was right there about the 2 yard, one or 2 yard line on the goal, right where both teams were piling on top of each other.
Oh, it was. Oh, is that where Logan got hurt?
Logan got hurt before that. Bo Stevens got hurt and during that melee.
Oh, okay.
So we
missed a lot of those.
We have a new center now.
Yeah. I noticed he played, but I didn't realize how much he played. People were telling me, I was getting messages about people were telling me, and you guys know one of the guys, he gave me the rundown of like all the injuries that took place and the people that were sick and stuff. Yeah. That I didn't realize because, like I said, I was at a family get together. Yeah. So, but Ellsbury, I guess, played at center a lot. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope Logan Jones isn't hurt too bad. I hope Bo Stevens isn't hurt too bad. I haven't heard.
Logan Jones, after he got hurt, came back on the field in street clothes with his foot in the boot. Okay. So
that's going to help.
That doesn't mean anything. It could be just precautionary.
No, I know. Iowa football players use that boot more than anybody. Then they walk around campus and you get messages, hey, this guy's in a boot. Like X. X was in a boot and then he came out and played anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
just precautionary.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, Paul, did you predict 10-7? I didn't write down your prediction score.
I didn't predict it on our show. I predicted during the game. I said I'd sent a message to the group.
Oh yeah, well you did that after they were driving for a field goal. You go, I predict we win 10-7.
No, they hadn't even gotten the football yet.
Okay.
I predicted 13-9 with Hill, 24-9 with LaBasse.
Yeah, so, and I didn't predict a score because anymore with Iowa, it's just crazy to try to predict a score.
Actually, during the video, I said Iowa was going to roll this game, that they were going to come out pissed and kitchen sink them, and they almost did that. I mean, we Cooper on offense. We actually ran a tunnel screen. We did a lot of things that were somewhat creative. It was almost like they spent the entire bye week figuring out how to get Cooper DeJean the football on offense.
On a fly sweep.
One
play, 8 yards.
Yeah. Then they used him as a decoy on the next play.
They poured a lot of manpower into that.
Okay. I honestly thought it looked like he was going to actually get the first down when he did that.
Okay. Yeah, Terry, I love Drew Stevens, by the way. Yeah, he's a cocky kicker. I don't know. There's something about cocky kickers that I like. Confident. Keith Duncan was like that.
Okay.
Remember when he did to Nebraska sideline when he made the game-winning field goal?
What show did Stevens' dad call in on last night?
You have to ask Terry. She's the one doing all the. She's the one that knows everything.
Yeah.
The spread is down to -2, Ari? That's interesting.
Well, that means Vegas or somebody actually really likes Rutgers in the game because, I mean, if you get 3 for the Kinnick experience.
Well, I think it's opened at 6.5.
Okay.
Or 5.5. It did. So people are unloading a ton of money on Rutgers.
Yeah.
Yep. Interesting.
Okay, Jared wants us to comment on the scoring drive.
Yeah. As far as them taking the safety or not taking the safety, I mean, we have the benefit of hindsight now, right? So it all worked out in the end. For me, I have a feeling Kirk was kind of thinking he wanted to reward the defense for that goal line stand. And if we were able to get 1 first down or, move the ball out, far enough that we could get a good punt off and, just have faith that the defense would keep them out of the end zone again. Taking the safety there kind of willingly, it gives Northwestern momentum. I suppose their touchdown gave them momentum anyway, but I mean, I think he feels like Iowa's best chance to win is putting the game on Torrey Taylor and the defense.
Okay.
Yeah, the safety would have been silly, in my opinion. I never would have, because you're up 7-0. You get a safety, right? And then you have to kick off to them either. Anyway, after going 17 plays, your defense is exhausted. So then you do your 2, 3, or your 3 quarterback sneaks, whatever you want to do, and then take the safety, kick it away. You're putting your defense right back out there with Northwestern a chance to take the lead, not tie it. So there's no way in heck I would have took the safety. No way.
Right.
Because
and I understand where you're coming from on that. I do. I really do.
Then just imagine the Iowa fans if Iowa loses 9-7 because we took that safety.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's hindsight, right?
Okay. What do you think? The defense was playing outstanding up until that drive. What do you think happened during that drive? That was the defense tired, or did Minnesota just figure out some things that they could beat us on? I mean, but of course the defense after that stepped it up on four straight downs on the goal line stand. But up to that point, during that whole drive up to that point, what do you guys think happened with the defense that they, what was going on there? Do you guys think?
Well, somebody famously said, those guys are on scholarship too, and they're Division I FBS level, Big Ten level athletes, and great defense. Holds the team to 7 points. Unbelievable defense in this day and age holds the team to 7 points. So
nobody else did Northwestern,
right? So long story short, I mean. That's a team capable of putting up more points than the 7 they did. Sometimes you just tip your cap and say, hey, they squeaked out a score.
Yeah, that was their lowest output of the season.
Right.
Heck, they came back and scored 24 or 28 against Minnesota.
I believe it was 21 in the fourth quarter. I think they were down 21 or something, and
they scored 17 or 20 against Nebraska.
Yeah.
Like. They had Penn State in the first quarter, first half. Northwestern is not as bad as everybody wants them to be.
No, they're not. They're not. And I think everybody's admitting that now that they're not the team we thought they were going to be. We thought they were.
No, they're not near as bad.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
No, they turned out their coach is doing really well with that team.
Yeah, they have a chance to get bowl eligible too. Yeah. They only got to find 2 more wins out of the next 3 games. They've got Illinois, so that's a possibility, and I don't know who else they've got.
Right.
Okay. Let's talk about Terry's, who said, I was so happy Minnesota lost. Were you guys shocked that Minnesota lost Wisconsin lost. And who was the third one? Oh,
Nebraska.
Nebraska lost. Although I predicted 2 of those.
And
maybe all
Purdue lost.
maybe all 3 of them, I think, now that I look back on it, but we'll talk about that at the end of the show.
Everybody lost except Iowa.
Yeah, I think everybody in the West but Iowa lost.
Right.
It was not a good showing for the Big Ten West yesterday. I mean,
except Illinois won.
Except Illinois, but they played another West team.
Right.
And so did Iowa, for that matter.
Yeah. Iowa's the only team in the Big West to be bowl eligible. You know, if I look at the standings, I would figure that out. But boy, I'll tell you right now, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, everybody's got 5 wins in the West.
I think Minnesota goes to Ohio State this week, is what I heard.
What's that? Yeah, Minnesota goes to Ohio State, so they're going to probably lose another one.
Yeah.
Guys, speaking of that, we hadn't had a chance to talk about it last week, but what do you guys think about Ohio State jumping all the way up to number 1 for the first playoff rankings?
To me, it doesn't matter because the top 4 is going to be the top 4 until somebody wins or loses. They got the right top 4 as we speak.
Right.
Right. That's the only thing. Who cares, in my opinion, because you don't get home field advantage. So I don't care who 1 through 4 are as long as they get the top 4 right. And I think they got it right so far. So it doesn't bother me that Ohio State jumped. I don't know how they jumped to number 1. They haven't just destroyed everybody. Right. But I just think they're tired of Georgia being number 1.
Could it be that the committee decided not to put Michigan at number 1 because of their cheating scandal? Because they're basically smoking everybody.
Yeah, but they're not playing anybody. Michigan, like they had before Iowa lost to Minnesota, they had Iowa ranked in front of Michigan on their little chart that they use. I shared it with you guys. They had Iowa at 11th or 10th. And then they had Michigan at like 13th or something like that. It's because they legit haven't played anybody yet. Like Michigan has the worst schedule out of, I think their schedule is like 80th or something. It's just they legit haven't played anybody yet. Now they play Penn State this week, so this will be their first true test. And then they play Ohio State. But other than that,
I think the committee is trying to set up the Big Ten for success in the sense that if you put Michigan 1 and Ohio State, say 3 or 4, which would not be the worst thing in the world, the loser of that game is all the way out. But if you have an undefeated Ohio State who's 1 in the rankings, and let's say they lose on a last-second field goal to Michigan at the end of the season here, they could still finish 4th with 1 loss. Whereas if they start at 4 and lose, then they're out. So I think the committee is really wanting Ohio State in there, and they'll let
Michigan. Michigan has played Rutgers and Minnesota, and that's it. They have winning records.
Okay.
They legit haven't played a soul. They just destroyed Purdue, Michigan State, Indiana.
I think something happened with their non-conference. They were supposed to play somebody better, and that somebody backed out or something, and they wound up having to schedule like Bowling Green or one of the crappy non-conference games they played. I believe that's what happened.
Okay. They played East Carolina as well. They just have a horrible schedule.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sam has joined us tonight. Welcome, Sam. He says we need to fire Jason now. I wonder what did you do, Jason, to get yourself on to get fired?
I didn't go tornado watching with him. I'm not going to go out in the Dominator and watch some tornadoes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have Rutgers next week, Illinois, Nebraska. Jared would like to know if we have any predictions, and will Illinois and Nebraska be bowl eligible? I believe Nebraska will be.
I'd have to look to see who their remaining games are against. I think Nebraska, obviously they play us. I don't know who
they play Maryland. They play us. They play Maryland. I mean, they're going to have a tough go.
The wheels seem to have come off for Maryland.
Wisconsin. They play Maryland, Wisconsin, and Iowa.
Okay, so they play Wisconsin the week before they play us?
Yeah.
Because Maryland's this week.
Well, I tell you, Wisconsin and Maryland are not the games, are not the teams that they were a month or so ago. I mean, they're just not. Maryland's confidence is shook, and Wisconsin is so injured on, they were somewhat offensively challenged when they were healthy, and now their
star running back is not available.
Or quarterback.
Or quarterback.
Yeah.
But I mean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we'll move on. Northwestern has Wisconsin, Purdue at home, and Illinois. Honestly, the way Wisconsin's playing right now, I could see Northwestern winning all three of those games.
Absolutely.
It just depends if their quarterback comes back. Wisconsin's, that is.
Yeah.
Right? Wisconsin's starting a true freshman quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of the problem, right? So who knows how much work he got. If they're anything like Kirk, the number 2 quarterback didn't get a lot of work, before he became number 1. So and being a true freshman, it just depends on his skill set, the way he learns, how quickly he can pick up on it. But yeah, I could see with Northwestern, that would be amazing to win all those. And in the season 7-5, when they were picked to go like 1-11, the coaching job this coach has done is amazing. No,
Northwestern.
His what? The coach for Northwestern. Yeah.
Yes, he's done a great job. Coach of the year, and take off the intern tag.
Yeah. Sam's talking about he picks Iowa to lose every week.
He picks them to lose. Really, Sam? You're a Hawkeye fan.
Well, that's
your
his
buddies are Hawkeyes.
But that's his reverse psychology.
Oh, okay. I get it.
There for a while, Iowa was on a winning streak. Every week he'd pick them to lose. So that's what he's saying.
Okay.
So his reverse psychology was to fire me. And where did Paul go?
Paul disappeared on us.
Yeah, he just took off. Yeah, Marco. Okay. I'm ready for Marco now.
Yeah.
But
who would you rather play in the Big Ten championship game, Michigan or Ohio State?
I'd rather play Penn State. I don't want to play either one of those teams.
Me too.
Because I want a rematch with Penn State.
Mm-hmm. We do, but I don't think it's going to happen. Paul's trying to make his way back.
Okay.
No,
it would burn his red shirt if he played now.
Yeah.
If Iowa wins out and goes to the Big Ten championship game, they got to wait until Illinois.
That's the first game he could become eligible without burning his red shirt.
Without burning his red shirt.
Yeah.
So I don't want him to play until Illinois. But he's getting his chance now, right? He's getting a lot of work now, thank goodness. He's warming up with the 2s. He's getting a little bit of action with the 1s. So I'm excited for him because he's learning everything he can right now, because if Deacon goes down, it's Marco's, and they don't have anybody behind Marco except Joey. I mean, Joey will play. He'll just be the third string right now.
Okay, Terry, Petrus is not going to play this year. He can't. He's not enrolled.
Not only that, he's
He's not
still
on the roster. He's not enrolled.
he's going to transfer if he wants to play again and not become a coach yet. He'll transfer.
The other thing I want to say about that, I know there is a few people thinking that if Cade can't make it next year, if he's not able to fully go, that everybody thinks that Petrus is going to be our starting quarterback again.
He's not going to play for Iowa.
Yeah.
He's going to transfer, or he's going to coach.
Yeah.
He may not even coach for Iowa next year. This is just a year to get him healthy, right? He may not be able to throw a football again very well.
He was throwing it in the last night during warm-ups on the video that was floating around.
Yeah, he was warming up, but he wasn't
throwing. I mean, he wasn't throwing hard throws. He was just throwing easy passes.
He wasn't throwing Division I footballs. Like, he was just out playing catch, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay. How will Michigan do against PSU, guys? I think that's going to be a tougher game for Michigan than most people think because it's at Penn State. This is where they should have put the whiteout game at night. This is the whiteout game. Why put it on us?
Well, did you guys see Marco teaching Deacon on the sidelines?
I did not catch that. Yeah.
Yeah. Marco would go right up to Deacon and start explaining stuff to him. So they're helping each other. So Marco's a quick understudy, but to give you guys a little bit, Marco has been learning a lot of the Iowa way for like the last 2 or 3 years with Graciopi, right? Mm-hmm. So Marco had a head start coming into Iowa to begin with. So it's just, but he wanted Brian. He wants to play for Brian. So I just pray they recruit him.
I'm hoping that whoever they get to replace Brian, that they're able to convince Marco to stay. I mean, it's a foregone conclusion that Labus is leaving, but we want Marco to stay, and we want Reiser, or however you say his name, Jamin Reiser or Reiser.
And he's another one that came here to play for Brian.
Yeah,
he legit said it.
Yeah,
He legit said, yeah.
Do you think because the 1st of December they can start opening up the portal? Do you think that they might have Brian's replacement named by the time the portal opens so they can kind of keep these kids from jumping ship? Because they'll jump ship if they don't know what's going on. If they don't have answers.
We may not know. But the kids will know something.
Yeah.
Right? They'll know if it's going to be Bud Meyer. They may not know if it's going to be Paul Chris. Because that's going to have to be a money issue. Paul Chris.
And that's going to have to happen after the season because he's already committed. He's working with another school right now.
Texas. Yeah, he's working with Texas. So, yes, Brian will coach the NFL. And, yes, Kelvin, you're right. Petrus is rehabbing. That's what those throws were. They were rehab throws. They weren't anything serious.
Yeah. Does Marco have a beard, too? Because I noticed Joey Labus and, of course, Deacon has a beard.
No, Marco's clean shaved.
Is he clean shaved? I just wondered if the quarterbacks got together and decided they were going to grow beards.
Well,
because Labus didn't have a beard last year.
Right, but maybe they should shave him. Maybe that's the problem.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Thoughts on Peaches battle? No, that's not going to happen, South Bend. But I've already told South Bend 100 times. Yeah, Peaches can only slow toss. Yep. But South Bend, I already told you, Peaches is not going to be. He won't play for Iowa again. It's already a foregone conclusion. If he wants to play, he will transfer. The coaching gig, I don't know what he'll decide. Because he does have one more year to play, but it won't be in an Iowa uniform. Mm-hmm. He's not a true dual threat. He's a 4.6 40 guy, so he can run, right? But he's not going to be, the guy. He's not going to be the quarterback for USC, right?
Yeah. So I think would he be reminding you more of Drew Tate, that he can run to get himself out of trouble?
A bigger Drew Tate. Like, he's not going to be a statue in the pocket. He's a big dude. He's going to be able to break. He's going to be able to break tackles like Nate Stanley, but he's more athletic than Nate Stanley, and he's a lot more accurate than Nate Stanley, and that hurts me to say. So
you are so excited for Marco. I saw your homepage. You changed your cover photo to Marco.
Anybody who's been following me for like the last 3 years know about me and Marco, me and my quarterback crush on Marco, because I have him as a low 5-star. He legit does everything, but he doesn't have a cannon for an arm. But he could do everything else.
There will be no battle between Petrus or Hill for QB1.
Thank you, Paul. Somebody's got to say it. He won't listen to me.
Yes, I know that South Bend, he really believes that Petrus is going to come back next year. And okay, I know because he and I have talked about it, and I know that he's told it to me too. You know, I don't see it as a bad thing if Cade can't play next year, bringing Petrus back. I mean, he's better than what we're putting out there right now.
It'd be Marco.
It'd be Marco, yeah. But Ferentz is so loyal. Would he actually bench Hill in favor of Marco next year after Marco played pretty much the whole season? Not Marco, I mean Hill.
I think he'll be surprised. I don't think he. I mean, well, I'll freak out if that happens, but we'll see. I don't even want to discuss that.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't even want to think about that.
What, Brian mean in the NFL?
No. About what you were saying about. I mean, I already know Brian's going to be in NFL. I'm talking about what you were saying about Marco and Kirk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I get it. Okay. It's going to be Budmeyer or Polosic is my guess. I wasn't that impressed with his offense watching him play his team play the other night. Polosic.
I got to fly. It keeps bugging.
You know, what you guys, I mean,
Wyoming?
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, Wyoming used to have a lot more potent offense before he took it over.
No, they run the same offense they ran at North Dakota State. They run the exact same stuff. The reason he's the OC there because he was the OC at North Dakota State when they beat Iowa with the same head coach at Wyoming. Mm-hmm. Right? They were winning national championships together. Right. So they're running the same offense. It's just he's a defensive coach. He's just like Kirk. Wyoming's coach is a defensive coach.
Okay. Yeah, well, they look definitely, when I watched them the other night, I mean, they can definitely move the ball. They definitely had some nice things going on offense, but like I was expecting this wide open offense, but they definitely can play some defense over there.
That's their style. I mean, he wins the same way Kirk does.
Mm-hmm.
The most surprising thing to me yesterday was Iowa winning the toss and choosing to receive the opening kickoff.
Oh, God. That was a 10-minute conversation where I was at with my family. When I was like, oh, we're getting the ball. No way. It turned into a big ordeal. Yeah, that was the biggest shocker of the game.
It's not a shocker at all, guys. Like, I'm guessing you guys are being facetious there.
Oh, yeah. You weren't a part of our inside joke? Or you just forgot? Isn't he a part of it? Paul?
I forgot.
I
forgot.
I thought so, too. He just forgot. He's old.
Yeah.
He's old.
Thanks, guys. Okay.
All
right.
I mean, would love for it to be Paul Chris, but Mike, it's about money for Paul Chris. The thing is with Paul Chris coming in is he uses his tight ends too, right? He basically but what we won't see is the zone blocking. Paul Chris does not like zone blocking, right? Same with Tim Polasek. There's a lot of people. If you guys, hello, hello,
yeah,
my headset just started dancing in my ear, and I didn't know what was going on.
Oh, okay.
But Polasek, when people started talking about the offensive line going down, well, he was kind of going against his own style of coaching, right? he is not a part of that zone blocking as well. Paul Chris isn't a part of that zone blocking. They like to run gap. Like gap and power is their style. So with Paul Chris coming in, it would be a great thing because Iowa does not have the linemen to run zone, right? They're not as athletic as they used to be. They're powerful and they're slower, right? So gap, which I think is why they went to a lot more gap this year. But I think Paul Chris would be the perfect OC for what Kirk wants to do. And I think Kirk would actually give up. Well, Paul wouldn't come if Kirk's going to handcuff him.
I think
Paul's not going to want that on his resume.
Well, see, that's the reason why I think I would go with Chris, because I think given his experience and age and everything, I think he would leave him alone more. What do you think? I don't know.
I think we have more gap running backs right now than we do zone running backs. I mean, when I think of the zone scheme and guys really being effective with that, it is your, forgive me for saying this, but it's your Akram Wadleys, it's your
Freddie Russell.
Guys, yeah, Freddie Russell, kind of smaller guys that and patient guys that can find the holes, find the cutbacks, have that ability to stick their foot in the ground and change direction. The guys
and be able to read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're 100% accurate on that. The backs we have now, except for K2 is that zone style, which is why he's struggling a little bit. You notice the other two running backs don't get caught behind the line of scrimmage very often because they just go, right? They go with that gap power. Whereas K2 likes to do a little dance, and he's the one that gets tackled because he doesn't just dart through. I mean, there was a couple runs. If K2 was the one that got the ball, he would have been gone yesterday. There was a couple runs that was just this much from being big runs. But, yeah, South Bend, I'm with you on that, though, as far as this fan base. I mean, that's why it's going to take
You're way ahead of me on the comments.
Oh, sorry. But that's why it's going to take a couple million to get Paul. $1.5 million to $2 million to get him, because he's going to have to deal with the Iowa fan base, too.
Did Colorado win yesterday?
Hell no.
Jared's on the Colorado bandwagon finally.
He's off.
Oh, did he say off? Okay.
Yeah.
I never was on it. I was never on it. I admit it. I did watch the first couple games because, like everybody else in America, I was curious.
I was only on it to see what's going to happen when it went away, right? Because Dion is so cocky. Like, he just took advantage of talking about how good he was in the beginning. Yeah. And you just knew it's Colorado, and they don't have any backup. So once the kids started getting hurt, Colorado's screwed, right? And his poor son is screwed. They have no linemen. You want to talk about no line? Look at Colorado. Deacon Hill has all day compared to Colorado's quarterback. Poor Sanders is just getting torched. Right? So, I mean, go to the next one.
Got it. Kansas beat SIU. Cyclones not going to the Big 12 final.
I mean, that's the whole Big 12 is like the Big 10 West, right? So they could still get back in it. They're only one game out of first. Right. All they got to do is just keep winning. Now, if they beat Texas, then they'll jump right back in it.
I'm a little disappointed in Iowa State. They had a home game yesterday, wore their black unis, and they still couldn't pull it off.
Did you see what happened to them, though? Same
thing
happened.
No, actually, I didn't even watch the game. We had something else going on.
They had a punt return go all the way down to the 1 yard line, and they called him out at the 31, and he never stepped out. He never stepped out. Oh, wow. It was a phantom out of bounds. It was just like the Iowa game.
Was it the old Dake? Was he the one over there?
I don't know. Well, he's this former Big 12 official. Maybe he went back to the Big 12. But no, it was horrible. They got screwed. It was different than Iowa because it was still a part of the game. But that still would have been a huge play going down to the 1 because they didn't score any points from the 31.
Well, do we want to go over our picks from last week?
Yeah, Paul's about to pass out.
Is he? Okay, let me go through a couple of these. And comments to see if there's anything.
Paul's getting old. He's
Yeah.
9 o'clock is late for him.
Well, 24 hours ago, this was 10 o'clock.
True. I forgot. I'm so sorry. My wife said the same thing. And I was like, don't worry. Tomorrow we'll be back to normal. Get up, go to work at 8 o'clock. Your schedule will be right back on track. Because tonight we cooked supper tonight at 5.
Right.
So she was like, man, it feels like it's 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
So,
That's what happened when we went to church this morning. Our church starts at 9, but it felt like we were going late today. Anyway, okay, let's go over our picks. All right, guys. This was a good week for me. I want to say I'm very proud of myself. I'm now in first place.
Oh, wow.
we're going to have to go back and check.
Yeah.
I knew I
I
had a
lost
bad
one
week,
game.
though.
I lost the Iowa State game. Darn them Cyclones.
After further review,
Yeah. We need that red flag in that commercial for the review.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I'm out of
Cody right here. Let me answer his question real quick. How much do you think Beth will be involved in the next OC hire? Not at all.
Not
The only
at
reason
all.
why she's involved in Brian's firing because of the nepotism going on.
Who keeps? Oh, it's right here. Okay.
What?
No, you're right. That keeps going around. People, or I don't. That's another one. There's no. Kirk will hire the OC, and Deacon Hill is on scholarship. That's what we learned tonight.
Okay. All right. So, I went
Beth won't be
9-1 this
involved at
week.
all.
I went 9-1 this week. Iowa State being my only loss because I was smart enough to pick Washington, Indiana, Michigan State, Illinois. I could have been disastrous if those games had gone the way they were supposed to go.
right?
I'm just glad they went your way. I
Yeah, me
would
too.
gladly sacrifice this weekend for Iowa to be one game in first place.
Yeah.
Tiebreaker over second place, except Minnesota. So if Minnesota loses to Ohio State, then Minnesota is done.
Out of the running, basically. Okay, so that puts me at 55-22 in first place. Second place is Jason at 54-23. You went 6-4 this week. You lost Iowa State, Wisconsin, Nebraska, and Minnesota. Okay, Paul,
Yeah.
8-2 this week. So you're gaining ground on everybody. 44-23. That doesn't sound right.
Like I said, red flag.
60. No, that's right. That's right. 67 should be the score. Okay. You must have had a really bad week last week. Okay.
Paul did.
I think you're using illegal fair catch signals here, buddy.
You lost USC and Nebraska. Your only 2 losses yesterday. So you're at 52-25 total.
Yeah, I knew. I remember I went out on a limb with USC, and I said, well, it's a value pick for me. If you're going to go lone wolf,
you do it with USC.
The Trojans are, that's a value pick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get Cody's. Oh, there it is. I didn't see Cody's comment.
I had it right up there on the screen. I wanted to touch base with it before we left.
Yeah, because that's a one that a lot of people are talking about. But no, Kirk is 100%. All head coaches hire all their coaches. You can't hire a head coach and not let him do the hiring. The only reason Beth was involved is because of the nepotism at Iowa, which is against the rules.
I still want to know if Beth is in charge of his son-in-law, who's also on staff, and if she's in charge of Lisa Bluter's daughter, who's on her staff.
I mean, that's all good questions. Nobody talks about that, so I don't even know.
I don't even know either. That. Yeah, nobody's ever brought that up before.
All right.
Is it nepotism to have the Brands brothers coaching wrestling? I don't know how that works.
It's only nepotism.
It might be. It might be.
It's only nepotism if it's Brian Ferentz. That's the only one.
Right.
That's
I guess.
the only issue.
Right.
The 4 playoff teams are Michigan, Ohio State, Florida State, and Georgia.
What's the current ranking on those top 4? Ohio State, Georgia.
Yeah, Michigan, and Florida State.
Okay.
Detroit.
Yeah, he plays for the Lions, and he's playing
having
well.
A hell of a season.
Yeah, he's having the best season of any rookie so far.
Yeah.
He's breaking records for tight ends as a rookie.
Yeah. How's
that
Jack
says
Campbell
a lot
doing,
for
guys? Is Jack Campbell doing pretty good for the Lions too?
Yeah, he's doing. I mean, he's not destroying everything like he did at Iowa, but he's got a sack. He's got a lot of pass breakups because of his size, which is why they like him. He plays that deep middle when they do Tampa 2 defense.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing great.
You have to understand, being here on the West Coast, you don't get to see a lot of those games.
Here's Jared coming with some facts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometime next week, later in the week, we're gonna have wrestling preview podcast with Jared. Jared's gonna agree to join us for that. Jared's already working on some research for us, so thank you, Jared. I just want to let everybody know.
When's the last time Iowa won a national title in wrestling?
2 years ago.
A couple of years ago, yeah.
Oh, they did?
3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. And they would have won it in 2020, except they canceled the tournament.
Right.
Oh, shoot. I thought it's been long. I didn't realize the brands were winning like that. Okay.
Yeah.
It shows you how much I know about it.
But they've been playing mostly second fiddle to Penn State most of the time, though.
Well, see, that's what I thought because of the way we talked about it. But like I said, I don't know a damn thing.
Yeah. Well, the only reason why Penn State wasn't a factor in the 2020 – well, no, nobody had anything going on in 2020. But in 21 and 22, they weren't a factor was because all their guys, because of COVID, were working on Olympics. Their guys had taken Olympic years off. And Iowa guys chose to wrestle the season rather than work on their Olympics.
Yeah. So PSU has won 10 out of the last 12. So does that mean that the last 12 are Iowa and Penn State, or is there somebody else in there?
Ohio State has one.
Ohio State has a wrestler?
Ohio State, yeah, out of those 2 years, Ohio State got one and Iowa got one.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize Ohio State was a wrestling school, too.
They are, as is Michigan and Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Those girls can wrestle. Interesting. Iowa women's wrestling kicks some butt, though. I did hear that.
Yeah,
that's
nice.
Fun to hear.
That was nice.
I don't know who they wrestle, but I heard they kick some butt.
Everybody they're going to wrestle is going to be no names that you guys don't know because nobody in Division I has
women's
wrestling team yet, and they don't wrestle for the NCAA. They wrestle under a different.
It'll be like club wrestling, I think.
Oh, women's club wrestling?
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? Iowa must have just jumped out in front.
I think Iowa did something similar with hockey, men's hockey. Like they did.
Yeah, they have a club team in hockey, and they won the national title last year.
So.
Oh, okay. All righty.
And here's something else to you guys. Here's another trivia. My cousin coaches the Iowa State rugby team. That's also a club team.
Okay.
And they've won a title with him under that. Go, cuz. You probably aren't watching this anyway because you're an Iowa State guy.
Hey, Ari, I actually believe Michigan plays Penn State next week.
Yes.
Nebraska plays Maryland.
Yes. That is correct.
Maryland plays at Nebraska, I believe.
I just don't get into girls wrestling. I don't want to come off sound creepy, but I do enjoy it. My niece, not my niece, but my granddaughter wrestled a season girls wrestling, and it's nice. I mean, I like it. I like it better when the girls are wrestling each other. I'm not comfortable watching boys and girls at young age wrestle each other. I'm not comfortable
with that at all at any time. But my niece, I loved watching her wrestle last year. She was so fired up. She did great. Mm-hmm. She talked about even wrestling in college, hopefully. and then she didn't wrestle. She said she told me yesterday actually she's not going to wrestle, and I know it's because she's chasing boys now. Boys don't want you to wrestle.
Yeah.
Boys are afraid.
That might be
Hey, Eric Gold says that's a week from now. Michigan plays Maryland next week. I could have sworn Maryland was going to Nebraska next week.
They are.
And
Ari's
that's the way Big Ten is. When I watched the final drive, that's how they advertised it anyway.
No, they are. Maryland's going to Lincoln, because they were talking about going to Lincoln to try to get off this losing streak. What were you going to say, Paul?
I was just going to kind of like what Terry is saying right now in the chat there. I might be misogynistic and I might be kind of old school, but if I'm going to see two college age girls wrestling, there better be some mud involved. That would be entertaining.
Like the Tom Candy movie.
Yes.
And something in Stripe. What is it?
Stripes.
Yeah, Stripes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Ari's. Technically, you're right, Ari. He's playing the next week, this week game with us.
Oh, we get it now. Yeah.
Did you guys see what Kelvin, the head coach for Ohio State, transferred to Iowa from Syracuse? So he wrestled for Gable?
Yeah, and now Ohio State. You know how many former Iowa wrestlers are out there? A lot of them wrestled under Gable that are coaching.
Oh.
I bet Kelvin, thank you for commenting. I appreciate it. I know that you usually watch these later when they're not live. But between Kelvin and Jared, if you guys could probably figure out how many former Iowa wrestlers are actually coaching around the,
That could be a topic for your wrestling. Yeah, your wrestling
that's what I was
show.
thinking. We'll have to do some research. We're going to do our prediction on Wednesday night or Tuesday. I don't care what night we go, guys. We definitely have to go
Tuesday. I'm not ready yet.
Yeah, we'll have to go Tuesday next week.
Okay.
Because I'll be on an airplane all day long and landing in Oklahoma at midnight next Wednesday, a week from Wednesday. So I don't care if we go Tuesday, Wednesday. Either one's fine with me, guys.
Yeah, we'll do Tuesday. I think Paul had already decided he could do Tuesday, so
yeah, that's fine.
And we have Tuesday night to ourselves, so
yeah, we don't have to compete with nobody. Not the coach, not Corey, not the Hawk's Nest. Did you guys see that all the guys from the Hawk Nest ended up in Chicago? Finally, they got them all together.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've been trying to get together for a long time, all of them, and they were all together. There's a picture on Facebook.
What's a Hawk's Nest? Is that like a website or something?
No, that's another podcast.
It's just another podcast. It's just another podcast I don't watch.
Yeah, there's a lot of podcasts, but I try to get all of them. But it's when I'm in the car commuting to the gym, commuting home from the gym, or commuting somewhere else to like Bible study. Then I'm listening to catch up on them because I do listen to a lot. I don't listen a lot to Corey's. I jump in every now and then, and that's about it. I don't really go the full boat. Somebody's got Iowa losing to Rutgers.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, no. Okay, I read that wrong. Okay. Sorry, Harry. Sorry, Ari. Sorry about that.
Paul just says, no, he doesn't.
Yeah. You guys know that I got a bad eye, right?
Yeah. I think I saw on the broadcast yesterday that Iowa is playing basketball Friday night on Peacock against Alabama State. So
the girls play tomorrow. The girls play tomorrow night, but I don't know if they're on TV.
Okay.
I'll have to go back to the schedule. I also thought the men played on Tuesday night too.
They do. They play Tuesday night too on the Big Ten Network, I believe.
Also, we're competing directly with the men.
Well, yeah, but you can have that game on, right? Watch it, and we can do the football.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll
figure it out.
Maybe we can go at 6 instead of 7 Tuesday.
Yeah, we can do that. If you're available, Paul, heck yeah.
I'll make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah, make it happen.
Then we can be
Gotta
done
drive
by the time
100
the
to get
game tips
home.
off. Okay.
Alrighty. Ready to sign off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Guys, we're going to sign off. Thank you guys. Come back Tuesday for our Rutgers preview. And we'll
Bye,
have
Terry.
more. We'll have more picks on there. We'll tell you what we're going to pick there. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this podcast with everybody you know. Let's drive to, let's get me to 500 on this podcast. Us to 500. I forgot I'm not the only one on this podcast.
It's your podcast. You go solo. This is you. Paul and I do this for fun.
Yeah. Let's just at least get, at this point we're on the Brian Ferentz contract. We have to drive to 325, right?
There you go. Get us to 325. I like that one. I like that, Paul. We're going to drive to 325. And we probably won't make it because Brian's not going to make it.
That's right.
Don't forget your smart water so you can be smart. Did you see how smart I was tonight?
Yeah.
Because of the water.
Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to let everybody go. And you guys have a great night. And, guys, I'll see you guys on Tuesday.
You bet. Can't
Okay.
wait.
All
See
right.
you, everybody.
Bye, guys.
There you go, Hawks.